Hi guys, today I'm going to share with you how you can navigate the holidays as a highly sensitive person without feeling depleted. Because let's face it, this time of year can be so overwhelming for us highly sensitive people. For us who crave time alone and we crave our space, it can feel really exhausting and intense. And it can feel that way even if you don't have toxic family members. But then, of course, it becomes especially challenging if you do have a toxic or narcissistic family member. As an HSP, as a highly sensitive person myself, I understand what it's like to feel overwhelmed when you feel trapped in environments when you don't feel like you have your own space. I personally struggled with this for years, to even have people stay over, because it made me feel so trapped and suffocated if someone was in my space. I got really claustrophobic and I would have panic attacks every single time I had someone over. So even if your family or your environment is healthy, it can feel really challenging for us as HSPs during this time. And if you do have a toxic or narcissistic family member who you'll be around this Christmas, I sincerely also really understand what it's like to experience that aggravation, that frustration, that invalidation, and that emotional roller coaster that being around that can bring. So the first thing that I'd really like you to know is that you have permission to change your tradition if you choose to, even if it means not being around that narcissistic family member this Christmas. The fact with narcissistic people is that they will want things to be controlled in a certain way so that they're the constant center of attention. They will be demanding, they will invalidate everyone, and they will not allow you or anyone else to rewrite the script of how they want this season to be planned. And if you're an HSP, you will likely have a long history of being invalidated. Whether it's by this particular family member or the rest of society as you were growing up and as you were discovering yourself. And because of all of that invalidation, in aim to desperately try and seek validation that HSPs so deeply desire, most end up becoming big people pleasers, to desperately try and get others to validate us in return. But if you've been around a narcissistic person, you may already know that this validation never really happens, because all they do is invalidate others and expect to be validated themselves. No matter how much you tread on eggshells, it will always seem like it's your fault. And even with healthy people, having this expectation of them validating you constantly can feel very damaging. So being back in this kind of environment, if you do have a narcissistic family member, of being invalidated constantly, it can feel extremely triggering, especially for us HSPs. So today I'll be sharing with you my 5 tips to help you get through the Christmas holidays. Number 1 is set your expectations. The biggest mistake that anyone can make around a narcissist is to expect them to change. They won't change, which means that this year they will control everything in the exact same way that they have done in the past. When you set your expectations, it becomes easier to accept reality rather than try and fight it, because anxiety usually comes from trying to fight what is. Now, obviously, I would not advise spending the holidays with a narcissist if you can help it, because it's not the healthiest of ways to spend your time and your energy. But I am providing these tips for you because I know that realistically that won't be the case for everyone. So that was number 1. Number 2 is claim time alone. Go for walks alone, or claim space to yourself in a separate room every day. As HSPs, we tend to be really good at pushing our bodies through moments where we feel drained and uncomfortable. I personally had times where I would use sugar a lot to try and boost my energy levels, to survive through things that I really wanted to do, when actually my body really just needed rest. And maybe for you it's not sugar, but it's something else. So tip number 2 is check in with your body regularly. Maybe even set yourself reminders on your phone to remind yourself to check in with yourself and your body every so often throughout the day. Catch the moments when you need rest before your body is ready to give up. Don't allow yourself to reach the point of burnout because you've been ignoring the signs. Number 3 is spend time with your friends during this season, especially if you are around a toxic family member this Christmas. I highly recommend seeing friends during this period. Why is that? Because it's really important to remind yourself of your reality. When we're around narcissists, it's so easy to get sucked into their reality because they're really good at manipulating everyone to ensure that. So try and claim back your reality by spending time with your friends and reminding yourself of what is real to you. That was number 3. Number 4 is set your boundaries. You probably expected this one, right? So what does it mean? What does it mean to set your boundaries? It means being clear on what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. It means being clear about what you are willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. Be really clear on this because you need clarity on this so that you can communicate those boundaries. And remember that boundaries are not for them, they're for you. Your boundaries do not require anyone's approval. And it can make it scary to risk rejection of our boundaries. I do get it. It is scary. But if this fear is the reason why you are not allowing yourself to set boundaries, or if it's the reason why you find yourself over-explaining your boundaries once you've set them, then that means that something within you really requires healing on a deeper level right now. So this is exactly why I've made it my mission to help highly sensitive people heal their wounds, so that they can have more energy, so that they can have more fun, and so that they can have more balanced relationships. And this is why I help highly sensitive people turn their trauma into passion, so that they too can become healers. I currently actually have a few spots left on my program that starts on the 24th of January, and that's group and one-to-one combined. So if you want to start the year with purpose, and if you want to start the year with intention, drop me a message or book your free discovery call via the link in my bio, and we'll talk through the details together. I look forward to hearing from you.